Hello everybody. Today's topic is design of keys. Design of keys. Now all of we already know what are keys. We have already learned it before. During the machine drawing time, we have prepared certain practice sheets on different types of keys. Now today we will learn how to design these keys from the point of view of machine design, which we are already which is already in progress. Now key, if you see, is a machine part which is used for connecting the shaft to the outside object that is mounted on the shaft. Most of the time on the shaft there are gears mounted. Suppose there is a shaft, on this shaft there is a gear mounted, or there is a pulley mounted there, or it could be a clutch or a coupling or whatever. So the things that are mounted on the shaft, we want them to rotate along with the shaft. Now that will be possible when the disc, the general name is disc, when the disc and the shaft, they are fitted to each other. Now how do you fit it? If you weld them together, then also they are fitted, but then that is not the correct way, because by welding you will not be able to maintain the perpendicularity, or you will not be able to dismantle it again. So you cannot weld the gear to the shaft. So for the purpose of fixing, there should be some other method, and the method is key, use of a key. So let me first draw a typical arrangement of a key. So this is a shaft. This outside part, it's a disc. It can be anything. It can be gear or a pulley or a coupling or any such thing. And this is a shaft. Okay, so all of we know how it is fitted. Now in the shaft there is a keyway made, in the disc also there is a keyway made, and between these two keyways a part is fitted which is a key. Okay. Now when we are going to learn the design of a key, what we are supposed to do is we are going to find out the dimensions as usual of a key. So how the key is made up of, if I want to draw the key, it will look something like this. Okay, now this is W width, this is thickness T, and this is length L. So we are taking a simple rectangular key, okay, whose cross section is W by T. W is width, T is thickness, and L is the length. And then they are the sizes which we want to find out. Now normally what happens is, the given condition is like this. We are given the power transmitted in watts. So how much is the power transmitted? That is given to us, and the speed is also given, and then we are asked to find W and T and L. That is the size of the key. Now when we begin this exercise, the first thing what we have to do is to find the shaft diameter. This shaft diameter is D. So this shaft diameter, which is D, we want to first find out the shaft diameter, because the other things are related to the diameter of the shaft. Now designing a shaft is a vast exercise which we are going to learn later on. At this time here we are just going to do a very simple preliminary kind of workout to find out the diameter. Okay, so that says that, as you know, the formula is T upon IP is equal to shear stress upon the distance R. Okay, so this when you resolve, it gives us that shear stress equal to pi d cube by 16 into shear stress is equal to torque. This is the equation which is obtained from this. Okay, shear stress. Now these things when you bring them here, then it becomes pi d cube by 16 into shear stress equal to torque. This becomes another equation. Now in our case, we are given power and speed, so we know that power is equal to 2 pi nt by 60. Power in watts is equal to 2 pi n is the speed in RPM, torque is the torque on the system in Newton meters divided by 60. So in our case, we are given P, we are given N. So you can, first thing is you can find out T is so much, Newton meters. So that much is the torque that is available on the shaft. Now with this torque, now you can apply this equation and find out the diameter. Therefore shaft diameter, if the shaft diameter is d, then with this equation, since pi d cube by 16 into F shear is equal to T, you can find diameter of the shaft. So the shaft diameter is finalized. Now having found the shaft diameter, and we are also knowing the torque available, now the question is what this key is going to do. Now this key which is there, that key is going to now withstand this much amount of torque. Now it is withstanding the torque, it is transmitting the torque from the shaft to the say gear. How that is done without any failure, that is what now we are going to see. So the next thing is, if I draw a key which is inside a shaft, which is rotating at torque T, with torque T and some RPM also is there, and it has got a diameter D. Now what kind of failure will take place for the key, that is the question. Okay, now as we have seen many times, how do we realize or how do we analyze, how do we find out the kind of stresses that are acting on the part in general is by way of imagining how it will fail. So now if this key is to fail, you have to imagine what will happen to the key so that it will fail, if it is to fail. For that you can, one thing as we have earlier discussed, you can go for a exaggeration. So when you exaggerate, suppose you make the key very thin, then you will realize how it will break. Say like here, this key, suppose I am making it very, very thin. Very thin. Then now what I have done is I reduce the W. And then when you think of a shaft which is rotating and it wants the power to be transmitted through the key to the disc, then it should withstand it. Otherwise what will happen is it will break. It will break from here. From here it will break. What kind of breakage will be there? It will be a shear failure. That means this key will fail in shear if it is not strong enough. From here it will fail in shear and the power will not be transmitted. The shaft will rotate with half key inside and the other half of the key will remain in the outside part, and the breakage will take place, the power will not be transmitted, which we don't want to happen. Now for this, we don't want to happen this. What should happen is, this cross section should be strong enough to resist this kind of a failure. So what kind of failure is this? It is a shear failure. We know it is a shear failure. So we'll write the equation, shear stress is equal to load upon area. So what is the area which is resisting? This resisting area, see I'll draw it here. We have shown that it is breaking from here along this. Like this it is going to break. So if that is the case, then what is this area here? The area is W by L. So W width into L is the length. This is the area which is resisting this shear failure. And by what force this is going to happen? It is going to happen because of a force here. And this force is nothing but torque upon radius. Okay, so torque we already found out, divided by radius d by 2. If you divide the torque by radius, that will give you the force which is acting here. This is force. So force upon area, we have written the equation, the usual design equation we have written, and now we should be able to find out the size. But before we do that, there is one empirical relation available. What it says is, the empirical relation says that let there is one constant that is defined U, capital U, which is equal to shaft diameter D plus 12. So shaft diameter which you have obtained, add 12 in that and get one constant U, and after you do this, then width is equal to U by 3, U by 4 rather, and the thickness T is equal to U by 6. So you get these two sizes, the width and the thickness you get by empirical relation, which we have to check here. Now in this case right now, after you get a dimension, L is still not found out. So by making use of W here, you can find out L. First thing is, you find out how much is the L you require, the length you require, because W you have obtained by this equation. Of course you have to round it off, and once you obtain the value of W, put it in this equation and get the L. So W and L is decided. Now what is remaining is T. Now how are we going to decide T? That is the next thing. Okay, thickness has to be decided. It is already there. The only thing is maybe the thickness which is available, maybe we will have to check it whether it is sufficient or not. So now that we will do here. Okay, so we have W with us, we have T with us, we have found out, I already written here, in fact, find L. So right now the dimensions are there. Now to check whether T is okay or not, the thickness what you have obtained, whether it is okay or not, that we have to check, because W is already taken in the equation, L is also found out from the equation. So W and L, they are checked by shear failure. So there is no problem with W and L. T is not yet checked. Whether whatever you obtain is sufficient or not, that is not yet checked. Now on what basis T is to be decided? Now what is the role of T? What is the importance of T? Now for that again same thing, what you can do is you exaggerate and make T very very small. So make the thickness very small so that you will try to understand what is the role of T, what is the importance of T. Now you will realize that if I draw this figure maybe here again, then this is the key. I am drawing it slightly larger. Okay, like this. And when you are going to see, this is the outside part is, I will draw maybe like this. This is gear and this is shaft. Okay, so when the shaft rotates, it is this part of the shaft is pushing the key from here. Okay, so this much part of the key comes into this much surface of the key is taking the load of the shaft. So this load is taken by this part, and then this key is used for pushing this force forward on the gear. That is happening at this place. Only this much. So the force is transferred from the shaft through the key to the gear by this way, from this place. Okay. Now this part of the key and this part of the key is at the moment not important. Okay, it is not doing anything at the moment. Now if that is the case, this surface is experiencing what kind of stresses? I made it very small. This surface, this thickness I reduced so that this surface is less, to understand what is its role. What kind of stress will be exerted here? You will realize that it is a compressive stress. Okay, it is a crushing stress that is developed here, which we want to check. So I'll write here F crushing induced is equal to load upon area. Load is force and area is, now force is T upon D by 2, T upon D by 2, and what is the area here? The area is T by 2, T by 2 is half, so T by 2 it is, into L. So we are only considering half surface, and on the other side the lower surface. Okay, so T by 2 into L is the resisting area, force upon area, that is the crushing stress, which is induced stress. Now this induced stress we want to be less than the design stress. If it is less, that means this crushing failure will not take place, and the dimension which we have found out T is sufficient enough. Okay, so that way you can check the thickness of the key. W is already checked, L is already checked. So now the cross section of the key is final, and now this key will not fail in shear also, and it will not fail in crushing also. Okay, so the key is now safe and it can be fitted here. We have designed the key by making use of the diameter, because first we have found out the diameter. I rubbed it out. So by finding out the diameter, with respect to diameter, we have finalized the cross section of the key, and then it is checked whether it is failing or not in shear and in crushing. Okay, so that is the design of key, simple way. And we are not taking different types of keys, we are taking just a simple plain rectangular key to understand how it is to be designed. Okay. Okay, now the next part is, now we have learned the design of key. The next part is design of couplings. Design of couplings. Now we have already seen earlier what is the meaning of a coupling, what is the role of a coupling. Now as you know, suppose these are the two shafts. Let's say this is a shaft of a motor and this is a shaft of a machine. So you want to transmit the power from the motor to the machine, so that these two shafts, first you have to connect them so that the power transmits from one shaft to another, and once this shaft rotates, whatever machine is there on this side, it will start functioning. Now how to transmit the power from one shaft to another, that is where in between these two we are going to use what is called as a coupling. Now once this coupling is designed, then power transmission can take place, and we know what are the different types of coupling. We are starting with a simple coupling, that is a muff coupling. Okay, now what is a muff coupling? I'll draw first the figure of a muff coupling. So there is one shaft like this, and there is one more shaft here. Then these two shafts, they are enclosed or covered by a sleeve. Okay, and here there is a key fitted. Here there is a keyway. And here we are showing the partial section. Okay, this part is maybe not shown in section, whichever way you think it, or maybe you can show it also. This line should be in continuation. So this is the muff coupling that is drawn. The simplest type of coupling to connect the two shafts is like this. But only thing is, for this to happen, these two axes, axis 1 and axis 2, should be perfectly aligned. There should not be any misalignment or vibrations. Under that condition, we can use this. Now this is called as muff or sleeve. Sleeve coupling also it is called as. And then the two shafts are connected. Now there are certain sizes which we have to take into account. Diameter of the shaft is D. Then we will put some length here, L. L is the length of the hub or the sleeve. Then this is the length of the key. Same as this length of the key, and then the cross section, which is already decided earlier, just like last time, W by T. Okay, then there is a diameter, outside diameter is capital D for the sleeve. Okay, so you are given the power transmitted and the speed, and you are asked to find out shaft diameter D, W, L and T and small l. Okay, we have to design the key, even the capital D also. Small d, capital D, W, T, L and small l. They are the different things we have to find out, and the exercise is almost similar to what we have done in the case of a key. So how do we start is like this. Okay, to find shaft diameter, why do we find shaft diameter? Because once we find a shaft diameter, the key diameter can be finalized and then we can go ahead. So we have already seen earlier that power is equal to 2 pi nt by 60. So from this find how much is the torque that is acting here. So this is the speed, there is a torque, there is a power. So all these things are related by this equation, and you can find out torque because power and speed are already given. So torque can be found out, which is in Newton meters. Now this torque you are going to equate with pi dq by 16 into shear stress is equal to the torque. So this is going to give you the shaft diameter. So you got the size of the shaft. Once you get the size of the shaft, then capital U is D plus 12, and then U upon 4 is W and U upon 6 is T, and from this design a key. Now this procedure is already discussed. How to design the key, that is already discussed. So up to here it is last problem, same as earlier. So we have finalized the shaft diameter and we have finalized the cross section of the key. Okay, so that much is done up till now. Now the next thing is this sleeve which is there, or the muff. How to design this muff? That is the next part. Now for this, one thing is sure, that the length